They say some favors change lives, but what if one favor opened the door to something deeper? Something that tiptoes the line between comfort and desire? This is the story of how a simple act of kindness turned into a second chance at love, and maybe something a little more. Before we dive in, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss stories that stir the heart and awaken the soul. My name is Claire, and I'd always thought life past 40 would slow down. Quiet mornings, good books, and maybe a glass of wine on the porch. But life had other plans. It all started when my neighbor, David, asked me for a favor. David and I had always shared friendly waves and polite small talk over the years. He was kind, soft-spoken, the type of man who wore his worries behind his eyes. So when he asked if his younger sister, Mia, could stay at my place for a while, just until she figured things out, I didn't hesitate. "I trust you more than anyone," he said, his voice low, almost embarrassed. "She needs space, and you've got a calming energy, Claire." I wasn't sure what he meant by that, but I agreed. Maybe I was lonely. Maybe I just needed something, or someone, to shake up the routine. David began stopping by more often. At first, it was just to check on Mia, but soon it became clear he wasn't only coming for her. He'd linger a little longer each time. We'd talk about our pasts, his job in construction, my time as a high school counselor, our dreams, our regrets. There was something magnetic in those late-night conversations on my porch. One evening, the air was warm, the sky bruised with sunset, and we sat sipping lemonade like two people who had all the time in the world. He turned to me and said softly, "Claire, I didn't expect this. I just wanted to help Mia, but being around you, it's been good, real good." I looked at him, unsure what to say. There was something in his eyes, a quiet hunger, not for passion, but for peace, for connection. And something unspoken passed between us in that moment. It made my chest tighten and my thoughts spin. When Mia finally arrived, I saw exactly what David had meant. She was in her late 20s, guarded and visibly worn down. She didn't speak much at first, just offered a polite smile and retreated to the guest room. But over the next few days, things started to shift. I didn't push. I just offered her space, warmth, and tea. We started having long talks on the back porch, where the air always felt a little gentler. She slowly began to open up, about the toxic relationship she'd escaped, about how she didn't know who she was anymore. I listened, not like a counselor, but like someone who'd been there, because I had. Different story, same ache. I don't even know what love is supposed to feel like anymore," she whispered one night. I gave her a small smile. "It's not about how it's supposed to feel. It's about how it shouldn't. It shouldn't hurt." And for the first time, she really smiled. She was healing, and strangely, so was I. David noticed the change in her almost immediately. One afternoon, he stopped by unannounced, arms full of groceries and eyes full of something tender. "Mia seems lighter," he said, glancing toward the living room where she was reading by the window. "She's finding her center again." I replied, "You did the right thing, bringing her here." He looked at me for a long beat. Then he stepped closer, close enough that I could feel the warmth from his skin. "No, Claire. You did the right thing. You've done more for her than I ever could. And you've done something for me too." His voice caught. The air thickened between us. That night, we ate dinner by candlelight. Not because we planned it, but because the power flickered out during a spring storm. I lit a few candles from the drawer, and we sat there laughing over pasta and cheap wine. It felt intimate. Dangerous even, and when the storm passed, the house went quiet, except for the sound of rain trailing off the roof. That's when David said it. I didn't just keep coming over for Mia. His voice was almost a whisper now. "I came because I felt something with you. Something I didn't think I'd ever feel again." There was a silence after David's confession, but it wasn't awkward. It was thick, electric. I could hear the rain again, or maybe it was just my heartbeat echoing in my ears. I looked at him, really looked at him. The worn lines around his eyes, the way his fingers nervously tapped the edge of his wine glass. This wasn't a man playing a game. This was someone who'd lost things and was afraid to lose again. "I didn't expect to feel this either," I whispered. It was like opening a door that had been locked for years. One I'd boarded up thinking love had no business in my life anymore. Not after divorce. Not after the quiet years. But with David, it wasn't loud. It was steady. Certain. Slow burning. Under the dim glow of the chandelier, he leaned in. Slowly, cautiously. Our lips met. Soft, unsure, but charged with something powerful. It wasn't fiery. Passion. It was something more sacred. A kind of tenderness I hadn't tasted in years. The kiss lingered, just long enough to promise something more. And that promise? It terrified me. And thrilled me. Over the next few weeks, things changed. Subtly, but undeniably. David and I didn't announce anything. We didn't even label it. We just let it be what it was. He'd come over after work, help me water the garden, fix little things around the house, and sometimes just sit beside me in silence. We got used to the rhythm, the comfort. But there was always a quiet risk hanging in the air, because Mia was still staying with me. And while David and I tried to keep things discreet, there was one morning I caught her watching us, his hand lingering just a little too long on my lower back. She said nothing, but her silence was loaded. That night she brought it up, not with anger, with something else. "You care about him," she said softly. I nodded. "I didn't mean for it to happen. It just did." She paused, then said something that stuck with me. "Good. He's different with you. Like, he's real." It wasn't an accusation. It was approval, but it still felt like we were dancing on a line. One step too far, and the whole thing could tip into something forbidden. The weeks that followed felt like a dream. Warm, comforting, yet with an underlying tension that wouldn't quite leave. I couldn't deny the connection with David. It was deep, real, and unexpected. But with every stolen kiss, every moment shared between us, I knew we were playing a dangerous game. A game where hearts could break and boundaries could shatter. One evening, as we sat together on the porch watching the sun dip below the horizon, David turned to me, his expression serious. "Claire," he started, his voice heavy. "There's something I need to say. Something I've been holding back." I looked at him, wondering if it was finally time for him to pull away. Maybe the weight of what we were doing was too much for him. "I've never been this sure of anything in my life," he continued, his voice steady. Us. It's not just a fleeting thing. It's real. I think I've been waiting for this. For you. Without even realizing it." His words hung in the air like a fragile truth, one that felt both terrifying and beautiful. I reached for his hand, feeling the warmth of his touch, and whispered, "I've felt it too. But us, isn't just about what we've built. It's about what we haven't faced. The consequences." David's gaze softened. "I know, but I can't keep pretending I don't want this. Want you." It was like the world had stopped for just a moment. I was afraid of the whispers, of the judgment, afraid of crossing a line I couldn't uncross. But more than that, I was afraid of losing him before we even really had a chance to begin. But there was no turning back. Not now. The morning after, I woke up with a sense of clarity. What we'd shared wasn't a mistake. It was something rare, something precious. But it also wasn't without its risks. We decided to be honest with Mia. It wasn't easy, but we knew it was the only way forward. And to our surprise, Mia wasn't upset. She was understanding. She saw us for what we were, a pair of people who had found something beautiful, even if it wasn't the easiest path. "I'm happy for you both," she said, her voice soft but genuine. "You both deserve to be happy." And with that, we embraced the future. It wasn't perfect, nothing ever is, but it was real. David. And I moved forward, side by side, learning how to balance our pasts with our present. Mia, too, had found her way, stronger than before. And while there were still moments of uncertainty, I knew this was right. It was what we all needed to heal and grow. In the end, the favor David asked of me wasn't just about helping Mia. It was about helping all of us. It was about finding courage, opening up, and believing in love again. Sometimes, the most unexpected favors lead to the most extraordinary journeys. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it with someone who might need a little love and hope today, and subscribe for more heartfelt stories. Life's unexpected journeys are often the most beautiful. And remember, sometimes, the best things come from the places you least expect.